put up right on the bomb now. They have to peek it, and JDM is ready. Gonna take the headshot. Device picking up the USP, trying to shoot through at the angle. He's getting a shot. Stan goes down. The bomb is still ticking in front. Another defuse attempt, and JDM will take care of business. A double kill, and then comes the win, and Team Liquid picking it up.
We said this is going to be an exciting game. That pistol certainly sets the tone for the map. Very, very cool stuff there. Astralis in the end in the 2 versus 3 situation. An interesting choice to have both players in the pop dog. Once that smoke was deployed, absolutely right. That was a nightmare to deal with. They somehow pick up 1 kill, but overall, JDM doing a very good job there with the USP. Some great frags there. This is going to be an exciting one. I can feel it already. JDM striking there from the bomb train itself and finishing off the job as well. Full defuse coming in. And it was cool to mention as well, it's HE grenades. I'm glad you spotted that. You're absolutely right. Both those HE players were in the inside area, ready to drop the airstrike on the bomb, but actually worked out on the other side of the map as well. So that's quite nice to spot. But either way, round number 2, bomb down, so Astralis here pretty much fully can get P250s, and we discussed this earlier in depth. The idea, go towards B with a chance to trade frags here. If you get that 1 kill and the CT player is waiting for them, then you obviously got a very good chance of getting the bomb down. If you get that bomb down, you can actually get an AWP on the 3rd round as a terrorist, which is kind of nuts when you think about it like that. CTs win both rounds, they can't get AWPs.
Oh, it's very true. Stanislaw, talking about his ability to hold the inside bomb site earlier on train, and he was pretty good at it. Grenade, oh, it's going to be mistimed. That would have been great. They had almost all been there. There's still a grenade left on JDM, and he's at the same bomb site with a scout trying to pick it up. Grenade going to rain in. Will it drop the bomb? No, not quite. Kiebu, the one putting it down. I think the grenade bounced off the side of the train there. So 3 versus 4. With a bomb plant, they've already got 1 kill. This is essentially mission accomplished, as you were pointing out, Henry. They've got the bomb and a kill. That's really all they needed here. But now this is big news. A kill, the UMP, the extra $600.
That's massive. As already said, they have enough just alone from those 2 bomb plants in the first 2 rounds. Now he gets a $600 kill as well. Device has got almost $6,000, right?
My God.
No one on the Liquid side can afford the AWP. He can get a full buy. He doesn't go for it, interesting enough. You'd think, hands down, they're definitely not going to have the AWP. I'll bring it out. He can get AWP, armor, and a couple of nades as well. That's interesting for me. He didn't purchase that weapon. I'd be getting that straight away as the main AWP at the side. So they obviously have something in mind here to try and counter maybe the scout to JDM, the Famis and UMP they've got left up here on the Team Liquid side. But this is where the game really begins now. Astralis full buy, looking this right back in round number 3. And we'll have a look at the setup at the start of the round. Looking pretty standard for now. Some fast smokes at the start though, so not so much of a default. This could be a very explosive round coming in.
Stan pushing up in the smoke. He was doing this earlier, and he got found once, and I think it worked another couple of times. Just spraying through, and Sip will easily find him. That's a bit of a shame. Gotta be careful, Liquid, that they don't play too predictably, given that they have already played this map earlier in the day. That's a big risk, because Astralis will surely have been watching that.
We discussed Stanislaw's role in this team in depth earlier. The fact he plays that anchor position, likes to be aggressive on lower ramp as well. Zipex, I don't think he had proper vision of him there, but spraying through the smoke, it's a very tight angle, and this is the reaction play now. Unleash has to make something happen. Famis in hand, pushing into A main. At least that's something, some positional control of the map here. He has to do very well. Smokes towards outside, suggests that's where they'll finish up as well. 2 players at Ivy. It's up to Unleash now. If he can find this kill on Device, we might have a real chance, but can't execute the kill. It's going to be Device taking him down, and now 5 on 3.
Twist will pick up 1, reloading, maybe not at the correct time. That Molotov going to force it back, and Kiebu will get the kill. Nitro and JDM on our left, 2 versus 4, trying to stop the bomb from going down, but that just won't happen. It looks like Astralis just pretty much got this round easily enough. Once they got the first kill and they were 5 versus 4, Elige, I think you're right though, he was the only hope of getting anything back.
That's what you have to do on the CT side there. If you lose that first pick, someone needs to be stepping up. Stanislaw going down inside, weak in the outside defense. Obviously someone has to rotate into that area. So naturally, Elige has to push into A man. He needs to find that kill. I think he had a chance as well. Device was hardly pre-firing that. It was just a missed shot with that foul. It's not an ideal weapon, sure, but definitely gifted an opportunity to find it. Doesn't happen for him, and then Astralis run away with the round. It's going to be the outside plant. 1 player in the form of BO3 going down. Just up to Nitro now to save his weapon. I've looked at the money for next round for Liquid. That's if Nitro saves it as well. We have to work out what kind of money he has. It looks like he will be surviving indeed. Certainly can buy into this round. Nitro can drop a UMP, maybe 2 if he wants to, and then we'll have a little mishmash of a buy around that. So imports coming out as well. You could see there was sense that Stanislaw potentially pushed that lower ramp, and Zipex takes him down. I want to see the shot. It was pretty good from Device. It wasn't exactly like the instant execute. There was a chance there for the frag coming from the CT side, but still, Astralis, as expected, after getting 2 bombs down in the pistol and the second round, looking great. And Device now does bring out the AWP.
Yeah, there it is. So even less of a reason, it seems, why he didn't buy it the first time around, because it could have just been that he wasn't interested in having it. So I'm not really sure what that's about. Let's see if he's going to be able to make it work. I feel like if you have like a confident AWP on T side here, it's so nice to use them to pick the first kill. Just get it somewhere either in main or down towards Ivy. Again, another slightly aggressive move coming in from Liquid, just getting a peek into main there, not really spotting anyone out. It seems like Astralis, they're
aware, aren't they?
Yeah, they definitely know, and they're making their move down towards Ivy instead. Bit of a grenade coming in. Smoke towards the back of Ivy, and now Twist's moved into the corner. Elige going to be there to help him out. That's really good teamwork. There is a refrag, and another one coming in as well. Now Elige in a lot of trouble. He's going to have to go big, and he's been so good today. They need him early on in this map. Device will take him down. Stanislaw and JDM once again alone.
Yeah, this aggression doesn't seem to be working out for Liquid this time. Losing the first few picks, to be fair, they were under-equipped in the sense of they had UMPs and Famises, but it seems like a pretty simple procedure generally. But Stanislaw, he could be a bit of a nuisance here. That's a nice shot. Denies the bomb pun as well. 30 seconds remaining. Up to JDM. He's coming in from Pop Dog right now, smoked out. They don't seem to be 100%. There's the pre-fire now. It should be quite simple. Frag for ZipX, of course it is. This Stanislaw definitely throws a spanner in the works there. Keeps Astralis modest, but this has to be the eco now for Liquid. And we saw the start there. When you do have the lesser weaponry, let's say like the SMGs, the Famises, for example, it's one of those similar situations. Quite similar to when you lose the first pick of the game. You need to be hunting for the frag at the start of the round. You need to be working the body a little bit more and trying to get something going in your favor in terms of an advantage, right? That's the only way you're going to win those rounds. Knowing they've got a full buy of AWPs, you need to find a pick at the start. Didn't really work out for them. As we said, Astralis, very aware as to that possibility. Didn't give them anything to work with. They actually expended most of their utility trying to get that first pick and had to fall back. So, bit of a shame in that respect, but Dupree now reading the economic situation nicely. He brings out the Mac 10. That just signifies he knows that it's a full eco at this point, farm some cash and throw himself into bomb sites first, and going to be Glaive to open things up though, taking down Elige. At this point, they can just buy their time. Don't need to do anything really. 5 and 4, wait for that reaction to come out once again and find the lead here. Should be 3-2 after this round here.
Man, it's so rough when you're playing the CT side and you lose that third round because your economy is just completely wrecked for a very long time. You just have no way to actually get it back unless you win even more rounds right away. But Liquid are in a strange hole right now. Like even the next round up, they're not going to have that much money to work with.
They won't have AWPs next round unless we get a few kills now. They're going to get $2,400 on top, right? So, yeah. Maybe they get a couple of frags, just about squeeze one out. That's about as good as it gets, and it's not even worth it at that point because we have Glass Cannon all no nades. It's not like it's going to save the day for you, but we'll see what they can do as we get into the final commitment here from Astralis towards the outside bomb site. Very simple, couple of Molotovs, a smoke deployed in the bomb train itself, and just looking to guarantee the plan. Once the bomb's down, that's pretty much round over, and you can see the inside stack coming from Liquid here. 4 players there. And as we discussed, there's not really much you can do in these sort of rounds, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to be hoping, take a gamble, they make a mistake and come into you without investigating outside, maybe get a few kills. At this point, though, round's over, of course, and they'll be coming towards Connector. They've got nothing to lose, right? PT50, so might as well see if you can get a frag or two. If you find one that pays off the depth of the PT50 at least.
I'm trying to decide in my mind if we should credit Liquid with sticking with the game plan that they've already had. They've obviously had a game plan with this tournament that sort of says, you know, we are trying to push aggressive. We want information early on. Right? But there, the problem is you could also look at it the other way and say, well, is it becoming too predictable? And I think one of the worst things to have to do as a team is to try and reinvent yourself in the middle of a tournament. That's so hard.
Oh, absolutely, right. Now they've had a few kind of series so far. We've seen how they want to play and what they're doing to find frags, and it's worked great. But it looked like the teams weren't really prepared for it when they're doing it. That's the kind of classic kind of curse of a team on the ascendant, right? If you start having great tournaments and start having a great few games, people start paying attention to you and what you actually do and what your tendencies are. And they'll download that and actually work out counters to it. What are your weaknesses? Yeah, this stuff you do is great, but we can actually shut it down quite easily as well. And as soon as you shut it down a few rounds in a row, they start to adjust and maybe doing stuff they're not comfortable with, and then the whole game can fall apart. So this is looking good from Astralis. Still early days, of course, but like we said, no AWP available for Liquid, no kits available, and a lack of utility as well. This third round situation, as you mentioned before, is starting to be a little bit scary for them generally. 3-2 now in favor of Astralis, and another big round. You can see them hunting for frags towards Ivy once again. Went for the initial phase, that was Twist, but didn't get anything from it. ZipX spraying the smoke once again. Not going to find anything this time. I think there's a lot of decoy in there from the CT side as well, from what I can see. So that's quite a cool idea. Just going to bait out some utility. Maybe he's maybe to spam the smoke. Stanislaw, though, like we said, a solid anchor. He will be backed up by JDM this time, but no AWP. Not a great rifler. We'll see what he can do.
There's potential for a really fast rotation here for Liquid if they're good about it. Grenades are raining in, forcing Stan to move out of that position. He's actually already down to half health before they're even on the bomb site. But if you can tell, there's 3 people rotating into B. There's also a flank coming in from Elige here. They've got to hit some shots right away on Astralis. But look at that, 2 for 1. What happened?
No. You got to pick before.
All right, you got to pick for. I'm just messing that up then.
Yeah, you did. It was nice
getting that one. I was getting worried. Maybe my brain just lagged for a minute. Elige ends up going down as well, and Twist now in a 1-on-4, and I mean, what could he really do at this point in time? Called in the Magician earlier, but this is just too much. He's trying to read back, but not going to happen. Dupree will be there. And I think, is that the first kill for Dupree, or am I just making that up? Yeah.
It is the first kill for Dupree.
My brain is still working a little bit, Henry.
You recovered it. You were ruined, then saved.
I brought it back.
Unbelievable, you know? But still, round number 7, this is a great round from Astralis. What a great play that is. They make it look like the full execution at the start, right? They've dropped all those Molotovs in the smokes. They wait for the reaction to come in. CTs will drop absolutely everything at that point. Wait for it to quiet them down. Got the AWP in there. Device doing what he does best, opening the bomb site up completely. Finds 2 picks, and it's going to be 4-2. Now they're getting to the real groove of things. Liquid has to be another Rico, I'm afraid. PD50s, rush outside. It's the airstrike with a grenade doing a ton of damage. This is why you don't rush on these anti-eco rounds, because you can run into the lion's den. Now it's going to be a 3-on-3. Low HP players in Astralis side, and it's falling apart as JDM finds yet another frag.
I mean, this is the perfect example of why not to do this.
How many times do I have to talk about this?
Yeah, every day, Henry, it seems, and they're just not listening, are they?
But it's not.
Going for a bit of a shot there, Kiebu, trying to see if he can force them out. He knows there's a guy by E-Box, so they know where both the Liquid players are, but they have the bomb, and they're going aggressively. He's going to find a headshot, taking down Device, and that will leave Kiebu rotating all the way around here in a 1 versus 2. Liquid. I mean, if you're going to jumpstart this half and get back into it real quick, then it can't get better than this. Twist will take down Kiebu, and it's 4-3. What a mistake from Astralis.
Yeah, you love to see that work for Liquid, though. We call that the airstrike. You get 5 grenades, focusing on towards the connector. You see how much damage is inflicted. This is why I say it almost every cast I do. It's when you're up against guaranteed pistol, you know that money's completely wrecked. Take a full default, then you can do a play like this. There's no point to rush into what potentially could be a full-on stack outside, not let alone grenade strike you're running into it as well. It's a great tactic by Liquid, don't get me wrong, but still so avoidable by Astralis. It doesn't have to be that way, you know? Still have plenty of money, though. They can bounce back from this. A double AWP setup, though, for Team Liquid, and JDM getting into position. Some AWPers like to take the risk and stay there more than they should do, just to maybe get that first pick and go down to 10 HP and still have the advantage in that sense, but Device flashed off, has to take the shot now, and it will be falling back. But Zipex on the other hand, he finds the AWPer. Somehow JDM goes down.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Where was he? Was he up around still?
I'm not sure. I think he was up, actually. Up by,
Yeah, he was. He went to go reface.
So I think there's such a big difference in the game of Counter-Strike. When you get that first pick on the T side, it really makes a big difference if you get it, you know, before the minute mark or really late. You get it this early, you've just so many options.
The CTs have to do something about it, because they know they can't handle a full execution up on a map like Train as well, where you're spread so thinly already. A player going down inside, that's a nightmare. So someone has to step up, and once again, it's Elige this time. Doesn't seem to be playing as lights out as he was earlier on Mirage. These are long days, and he's losing the duels now. Zipex low HP there, finds 2. This is perfect. You've got 45 seconds remaining, a 5-on-3. CTs, once again, they have to get information. They can't just sit back here. Dupree finds yet another pick, and both CT players now towards Ivy. I said both, make it 1 is Dupree. It's just absolutely wrecking them here. Nitro giving his position away. Sure, it's quite a nice kill, but he should be dealt with momentarily. And Dupree, he finds his 3rd kill of the round. Beautiful stuff from him. Like we said, a quiet entry to the game, but now he seems to be getting into the swing of things.
Don't want to be making too many excuses for Liquid, but I feel like they're in one of those positions where, due to a sort of a mix of economy and good play from Astralis, they're being made to look much worse than maybe they actually are playing right now.
This was a bit sloppy. When you see that from Dupree's POV,
yeah.
There's a lack of communication there from the CT side. They don't know what's being covered, and the angles are wrong as well. We've got one player on the backtrack looking towards Ivy, but he's not covering main at all. So his teammates seem oblivious to that fact as well. Got their asses facing towards the Ivy area and is getting shot in the back, and then it seems to just all fall apart. That's how the bickering begins. These are the big rounds, right? Sure, it's not the best of buys, but they had 5 M4s and lack of defuse kits and nades and stuff. You need to be like trying to win those rounds. If you lose it to mistakes like that, you're thinking, wow, we're just almost throwing this game at this stage.
So help us out, Henry. You're a former CGS star yourself.
Yeah,
you know
course.
how this game is played. That's still
right?
relevant. People know what that is.
Yeah.
Listen, okay, you've tried the aggressive play early on as a CT. That isn't working out now.
Well,
what's plan B?
Let's be fair. They have not had the advantage really as of yet in the gun runs. They haven't been fully established and controlled and knocked Astralis down to a full eco at this stage. When you get that going, when you have like M4's up and you have all the nades, you can be aggressive. You can go towards lower ramp and do that sort of stuff. And they've tried it once properly and it hasn't worked out for them, right? It doesn't mean it's not going to work going forward. Yeah, sure, Astralis seem aware, but I think a few more defaults, chuck it in again. That's how you really kind of shut them down when you know the execution's coming. But for now, let's have a look at this. Towards Ali, I think you have to run back there, boys. That's not even, yeah, run away. Not worth it. And C-Spawn waiting for us. So they've got 5.7 PD50s this time. Twist has got the UMP. Some body armor for him as well. In terms of their investment into this one, this was actually a force by Anders. They went all in on this one. And it's a full reset, so why not? You would have been double eco on the CT side anyway. So the idea is you snatch the lost bonus away from Astralis and manage to reset yourself with whatever you have. But now 5-3 and everyone's still alive. 1 minute remaining, and such a strong position for Astralis here. They know it, they know the pistols are out, but somehow, what is that? Nitro fully blind, manages to get one kill. It should be the double flag though towards Ivex. Unfortunately there for Liquid, caught reloading, and that's going to be the advantage gifted back.
It's a real shame that they can't also pick up the kill on Sip, because you're right. Trying to get more bullets into those pistols. There is a flank coming in from Twist, but he's not quite sure where to strike, and now the bomb is being planted right in front of Stanislav. Go for the kill, but he can't pick it up. Dupree instead will get the frag, and JDM waiting in C connector. It'd be nice if Twist could get a couple of kills with his UMP, at least make some money from it, but right now, Astralis are really confident in their play style. Like, they don't seem to be rattled at all. They're just
There's nothing
punching
to
in
be
the rounds.
rattled about, really.
Yeah.
Like, they lost the pistol, right? That's 2 rounds gone. So since then, Liquid have won an eco round. So in terms of the actual gun rounds itself, there it is, illustrated on the screen right now. So in terms of that, the gun round's going very well for them. That's the bread and butter of Counter-Strike in itself. That's all we're working towards. The AK rounds and the AWPs going up against it. They haven't really lost one of those yet. So why is that worried? And Twist, does he steal the AWP away? I don't think he does. It's available. He knows it's probably not worth it. Considering he has body armor and the money's not great in his team, he might as well save it. It's going to be 6-3. And Astralis now really running away with this one. And it's on the T side. This is probably one of the most CT-sided maps we still have in the pool. And this is not looking good for Liquid at this stage, I would say. But
once again, I mean, you brought this point up, and I think it's perfectly valid. You know, once again, they just don't really have the money to work with.
It's a nightmare.
I mean, this is obviously all hindsight, but it feels like now Liquid should have done the hard thing earlier and went for like a double eco maybe even, and then
well, the thing
had
is
the
that
full buy.
they win ecos, right? Which is great. Like, winning an eco sounds amazing. But then if you lose the subsequent round after that, you have just enough to squeeze out a buy. Then you'll do that. Then you'll lose that round. Then the nightmare continues. You'll keep force buying anything, or we might as well just double force into this because this is what we've got. Like 2 grand left. We're not going to be able to buy next round regardless. And you can find yourself in complete dire straits. You need to be stringing rounds together, right? Yeah. Like we said, no gun round coming in their favor so far. A full eco win and then losing that round. It's just a bit of a blunder so far. But overall, still recoverable, right? This is not overlaying. Zipek's doing a good job once again. He must be top fragging right now. Yeah, 12 kills, 4 deaths. To be fair, a lot of those have been eco kills, but at the same time, still doing a good job, very efficient with it. 7-3 now. Let's hope we can bring some hype back in, because Liquid now do have another buy available. Definitely can't get the double AWPs out, but we'll see whether they do get it on JDM. They do indeed. Wants to play. I'd like to see him mix it up a bit. We haven't seen him maybe. He's tried upper ramp, he's tried outside, maybe like pushes towards Ivy at the end of that, gets that first pick. We talked about him being that assertive player now. Maybe that's what needs to come in.
Something has to work out. They've got that AWP, you're right.
Where does he go? He's going inside. Let's have a look at it. He can do the fallen play, go up the lower ramp itself and try and find that first pick. That's kind of nuts sometimes. He's just going to be playing that kind of shotgun style AWP at the lower ramp, just waiting for anyone to cross over and try to take them down.
We saw him do this earlier, where he's only sort of peeking half the time. Flashbang going to only force him back a bit, but Sip still picks up the headshot. He can't be stopped right now.
Yeah, that's sick. What a drive-by.
And how many of his openings have been on this, just on this, still on the brown hole area, where he's just either side the JDM or Stanislav who has to face him, and they just can't.
Not really much you can do about that. You even dodged the flash, you knew it was coming, and he still outreacts you there. So that's a little bit disappointing for JDM there. 5-on-4 once again. Like we said, that reaction has to come in, and Stanislav pushes in A main. Tries to get something back, but Astralis is so disciplined. They're not giving anything to Liquid here. Holding the angles, and Dupree, once again, does he give another free kill? Of course he does. They're not watching it. Twist is just wrecking his teammates right now by not covering this area. Where's the communication? How are they dying like that?
Yeah, this is really far back on the map. They're trying to get through the smoke. He's waiting. You only have 20 bullets. That's the M4A1 for you. And he ends up going down. Dupree picking up a second kill of the round here. Nitro tapping away really calmly, long range. I like that he's not getting panicked at all, but maybe he should be. His team is in a lot of trouble right now. Nitro goes down, and Elysian a 1-on-3. Sip is low on health. I mean, this is one of those 1-on-3s that could technically be done, but he's going to have to be quick, because if he lets them escape from the bomb side, and well, Device is waiting, so just scratch all of that, so really.
How many times, well, it's happened twice now in 2 key rounds, right? Device has come to the end of Ivy, and he's had a free kill and someone's back. That shouldn't be happening. Let's just have a replay of this before we kind of get into that. That's so sick, isn't it? See you later, JDM. So this kill here, why is this kill happening? Why is there no cover? That surely information is gifted to the team saying, Twist, like he needs to be saying, I'm not watching Ivy, you can be killed here. You shouldn't be walking around in that particular area. That's just a nightmare, right? Like he needs to be either more aggressive there and try and take the angles and stop them making that play, but this is looking sloppy now from Liquid. They seem a little bit out of their depth. But here we go, another eco, unfortunately, for Liquid at 8-3 and rushing inside. It's something to work with, and they get the first kill. It could actually work out for them as well. They do not steal the weapon away, so it's up to KRB to recover the situation. I think when you spot that many players inside, you just rush out and try and lock them in connected, but they actually maybe thinking the exact opposite. I guess at that point, if you're CT, you've shown that much presence inside, you're thinking, well, they've already seen us, let's try and meet them outside before they get there. So that's quite a cool idea from Astralis just to commit to this.
Yeah, and once again, I mean, we talked about this, the lack of panic on the Astralis side. We also talked about this boost earlier that's looking in towards the B, but it doesn't really get a kill this round at least. Still more than a minute left. And this slow style from Astralis has been paying off just fine up until this point, so I don't see any reason why they really would try and change it, or almost get caught then. Could have been a bit risky. Kirby makes his way back around the corner, but he very nearly got killed, and if he had, that would suddenly be interesting. I think Astralis still have a pretty good chance of winning this round. They just need to continue with this style here. Glaive walking out into the yard, but the bomb is still further back. How is he going to be able to pick up a frag? He's no idea there's a guy right behind him. He isn't checked yet. Now the flashes are raining in. Dupree will pick up the kill on Stanislaw, and that's going to open up absolutely everything. Now Glaive is turning around, but now the backup is there. There was an opening here, Henry, but the timing just not working for them.
But just recovering it nice and not panicking. Like Astralis could have ran down the lower ramp and chased them and thought, okay, let's try and get these kills before they fall back here. But very calculated. They know they've got the considerably more firepower in that situation as well. Fall back, get some map control, a couple of smokes down there, and it's trade together. It's looking very good. Actually, the 4 remaining players are getting a kill each, so that's looking very good for them generally. So JDM, the last remaining player here, has got an AK-47. Maximum loss bonus next round, and JDM, we said, it's very orb-centered Mac, hasn't really rise to the occasion just yet. 5 to 8 twists. No one's really fragging on the Liquid team. No one's stepping up. Like we haven't seen that superstar level from Elige that we did earlier. He seems to have calmed down slightly. 7 for 11 for him. Round number 13, 9-3. This map, unfortunately for me, does feel like it might be over already. They're not really turning up to this at all.
No, they're not, and this is where you'd want, you know, a good tactical timeout.
Well,
and
they're taking it now, at least.
All right, they are. That's good news. And then some sort of rallying call from Zeus, you know, to get everyone fired up here. Admittedly, they played the game earlier today against Fnatic, then they had a bit of a break in the last game, and now they're back and playing again. If you're not used to that kind of a tournament format, maybe, you know, your brain cools down a bit and you need to be woken up again.
I guess beating a team like Fnatic as well, it's a massive dump of adrenaline. Those kind of high-octane rounds they are having, it actually is so mentally draining. Like the fatigue can set in after one of the games. Sure, you might win it, you might feel fired up then, but then after you've expended all that energy and adrenaline, like I said, you have a 3-hour break, right? And then the brain kind of switches itself off. You're not really ready to do that all over again. It's very difficult to get back in that zone when you were kind of fresh, ready to go, you've been warmed up all day, and then you don't really want to be sitting there on death match as well after a massive series like that. So you can understand why the level drops off some, but maybe not to this extent. We'll see where they can recover. They get 9-6, that's still possible, Anders. They're still back in this game. Let's just be clear there. But for now, I just don't see that happening from what I've seen so far. JDM boosts up in connector. Zipex, he's just a man possessed right now, isn't he? Just pushing everywhere, trying to get this first pick and looking so aggressive with it as well. Takes a nade to the face, so that should calm him down somewhat.
I feel like this is maybe the first round for Liquid we've seen that actually has rifles and grenades and everything. Like, I mean, that's
everything they need to actually win a round.
Yeah, because other than that, it's been compromises all over the board for the CT side, which is so disappointing. That's really how you don't want to play this this first half. But I think you are right. They unintentionally lured themselves into buying a lot of times because they were close to making it work, and then that just kept on rolling for a while. And Astralis, no change of pace for them either. They tried that one round where they rushed into all the grenades, and that was enough to convince them we shouldn't do that again.
Yeah, that would be good advice.
Just
we're coming up with some good rules of thumb for Counter-Strike generally, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we've got it going
the code.
Standing in fire, which Glaive just did.
Yep, don't want to do that. That's one of the rules.
can't be doing any of that. And I got no team kills yet, at least. We've managed to avoid that trap. They are moving up towards the yard here. 30 seconds on the clock, Team Liquid. You said it, now would be the time to strike back. If they want anything out of this game here, they need to make an impression in the first half. Kiebu gets a kill on Nitro, but there's an interesting refrag. At least there's one of them. JDM has gone down in the meantime, and it's all falling apart. Glaive getting a double kill, leaving Twist. This kind of a flag is great if there are still people alive on the bomb side.
It's just too little too late, isn't it? They've shown so much pressure towards Ivy so far, Astralis as well. Now there's nothing. He's like finally watching it and getting something done on that side of the map, but unfortunately no one there whatsoever. Showing some presence on the inside of the star, back towards outside, and you can see Elige up there, blind so much in heaven. He thought he'd have a chance to maybe rain down some death from above, but unfortunately not meant to be. And Twists, it's one kill. I think that's all he'll be getting here. Falling back to the flashbang, Glaive deals with him, and it's going to be 10-3. And it's going to be 6 rounds in a row now going in favor of Astralis. No money once again, but you pretty much have to force into these round-anders. You need these last 2 CT side of train. This is not good enough, and Astralis just look like they're outclassing them, unfortunately. This is not the same team we saw earlier. That's just the bottom line. They're not looking like as dynamic. They're not finding the frags. The individual performances aren't there. And sometimes this could be the difference maker. If you've got a player like Elige who's firing at 110%, right? Who's just outdueling everyone in Fnatic one-on-one. He's going everywhere he wanted to start around and finding a pick. That seems amazing. But that's not consistent. That's not going to win you games every tournament, right? Like, it's kind of like you probably have Cloud9 at Sao Paulo. That's what was happening to them every single game. And then since then, it's difficult to replicate that sort of form, right?
No, you're right. I mean, I'm getting really worried here. They're trying to rush into main, and it doesn't work out, but I actually appreciate the effort anyway. I think this wasn't a bad idea for Liquid at all. In a round like this, you've got CSGO, you've got a Max 7, you know, you've got to try something. Just doing like a default spread with those kind of pistols, I don't think would have been worth it anyway, so I'll give them some credit for it, even though it didn't really work out. But
yeah. Well, they got some damage in there, so
they got a little bit.
A bit of damage, Anders. Yeah, I'll give you that.
What I'm really interested in, since we're on the path of learning about Liquid, and sort of, you know, they've shown some real strength in this tournament, but it's always hard to know how is a team going to respond to being beat up like this.
It's also one of those things. In particular matchups, like the play styles just collide. It doesn't really work out, right? So some teams, there's kind of Stanzo showing earlier could be amazing, right? But Astralis, like you said, they've had the chance to watch them in a best of 3, and it seems that they're very aware how to shut it down.
Yeah, and actually, in some ways. Where's it? Finally, kill coming in from Stan, but
yeah, it's not really
Molotovs are all around him. I think one of the strengths and one of the really scary things for almost any team in the world is that one of the things Astralis is so good at is actually shutting down star players. Like they make the map very constricted for people who want to sort of unfold and just, you know, throw their skill around.
This is why they're made of champions. If you can take down the strongest assets of a certain team, that's how you shut teams like this down. Like teams that aren't necessarily the best units overall, but they've got a couple of stars that at any point could step up and shut you down. If you can handle them and tame them, then why not? Like, why could they do anything to you? Like if you know how they're playing and what the particular tendencies of a player like Elige is, then I guess at that point you can just kind of stifle him. We've seen him look quite cagey in this particular map.
Nitro's down here with the AWP. Are we going to see a jump from a teammate? Flashbang is in. And now if he re-peeks it, he's going to be the one in trouble. Smoke is up anyway. Doesn't buy them that much.
Well, a much needed round here for Team Liquid. Just to reiterate, Anders, they won the pistol. Liquid got 2-0. Then they won a little force by pistols as well. They have not won a single gun round here. That's kind of shocking. If they didn't win that pistol, this is like almost a 14-1 scoreline coming in. But we'll see what they can do here. They get this last round, we still have a possibility of pulling it back to the pistol in the second half. 11-4 is still doable, believe it or not.
Some grenades are raining in towards the B-bomb site. Stanislaw looking the wrong way. JDM not really covering him. He will pick up a kill on Glaive anyway. That's the bomb now, down on the site. See if he can get one more before the rest of the team shows up. Trying to get out of C-Connector, but Dupree covering from the back. And that must be awful, because surely at that point, Elige is on the radio saying, listen, I'll get the backstab in, we'll get the retake, and it's all going to work out. And then he's gone the very next second. Device, he's got the AWP and looking exactly the right way. I mean, Liquid, there's no saving in the 15th round, so count to 3 and then let everyone go. And Dupree's actually determined to make their lives even worse right here. Nitro goes down to Device. They get one refrag in, but I still think Dupree's going to be able to do this. JDM with a smoke, and that's it. 12-3 for the first half in favor of Astralis.
Yeah.
They don't even look all that excited, Henry. They look like this is what they came here to do.
It's difficult to get that hyped up when it's that kind of half. Like we said, a single gun round against you, it feels a little bit too easy, right? You think to yourself, well, if you want that pistol, that's almost a whitewash. And it was a masterclass from Astralis, don't get me wrong. It seems like they've done their homework, they've shut down this play style we've been seeing all day from Liquid, but unfortunately, none of the big names of Liquid really arriving. JDM, a player we've been praising all tournament and how he could step up here and be maybe going head-to-head with Device. He finishes that half right with 6 kills after 15 rounds. It's not really good enough. You need someone like him to step up. Same story for Liege as well. 8 for him. Not the performances we were seeing earlier, and we'll see where they can bring it back. Like I said, win the pistol, maybe there's some sort of a chance here. T-side though, 3 sets of armor, 2 smokes, a little decoy as well. Looks like a fast play towards outside. I'm sure the smokes will be deployed imminently, but he gets that first pick and takes down JDM once again.
Life is hard right now, and even worse for Stanislaw. He's going to be going down. Dupree's very low on health, so maybe they can get close enough with the Glocks to make a difference. They are certainly making an effort of it. Jumping Dupree, they're going to get the kill, but Kirby's back with 2 big ones, and now it's just a Liege, 1 versus 2, and he's trapped in the corner with this bomb. I don't think he can get out of here without getting spotted right now. That in itself is a bit of an issue. He's trying to see if he can sneak back, but there's the first peek in, going for a bit more. He's done slight damage onto Kirby, but more than a minute left still. He's going to have to play some pretty deep mind games to get out of this situation. And there's the shot. Headshot, in fact, taking down Sipnix. That's not at all bad. He's currently got a triple kill, and so does Kirby. And one of these two is going to have to walk away with it. And if it's Astralis, you have to assume that's pretty much the map. Maybe Liquid could spawn some sort of comeback. If not, Elige, 40 seconds, is going to make his way back, but does get spotted.
Well, now the mind games begin. Does he fully commit towards inside? Kiabi doesn't seem to think so. Looking back towards Popdog here, now we have got a really interesting scenario. Elige, he's going to be walking out. Kiabi waiting for him as well. There's a lot of damage, but can't find a headshot. Somehow, Elige wins that exchange. Kiabi is ready for him as well. Low HP on Elige. You can see a sigh of relief there from Zeus. Now we have something to work with. Not much, Anders, but something as we go into the second half here. Great round by Elige. That's what we've been wanting to see from him throughout this first map, and finally delivering here. Kiabi with a world-class performance himself. I'm sure we're going to see a force fight from Astralis, all things considered. I would say traditionally you don't want to do that with this sort of lead on the CT side. Just close it out in the gun rounds, have everything you need, get the AWP, defuse kits, the nades, but it's a conservative approach. Only 2 players going all in with armor, and we're going to scout as well, so we'll still have a decent amount of money. Scout for Device, of course, and doing some damage towards Nitro there, taking him down to 53 HP.
I mean, the great thing for Astralis, if you shut this game down right now, if you can somehow win this round, is that you don't give really Liquid any chance to warm up on this map. Whereas, if they make it back now, and even if it ends in Astralis' favor, like 16-11, you've still, you've got them a bit warmed up. They feel like they could do it. But if you just close it out, they're going to feel absolutely miserable. A lot of damage onto Elige as well. Now they've got to be really careful here. The pistols could do a lot when you've got 2 players that are just 1 bullet away from death. A bit more for the smoke. I think that was JDM getting tagged up. Now they're on a site, but a headshot to take down Stan. That was Sip in charge of that one. The bomb is down as well, and Kirby trying his best. Device is picked up 2 with a scout. It's all falling apart. Kirby with a headshot on Twiston. That leaves Nitro out in the open. They're every which angle. He's going to get a second kill in now. He's still trying for more, but how does he get the bomb down without getting tagged up?
He's doing a pretty good job so far, and there's 2 kills, and they seem a little bit tentative to face him once again. It's Nitro with the AK-47, probably his bread and butter weapon, and he's going to get the bomb down now. It gives the position away somewhat. CTs have 1 player on the back tracks, and then Dupree coming from the connector as well. They obviously do not have kits here, so you can bide his time and maybe get towards a position like Heaven. That could be very interesting. They obviously haven't got the nade to shut him down. This is looking perfect for Nitro. I think he wins this.
He's in a very good position, and you're right. By the time they realize it'll probably be a one-on-one, and then all he has to do is connect with 1 more bullet. Oh no, but Device peeks it perfectly. I thought he could have had that one too, but ultimately will be a 13th round coming in here for the Astralis team. And if it wasn't already devastating for Team Liquid, I mean, how do you rally the troops behind this kind of a situation?
Yeah, and you've won both pistols now in this map, and
you've got 4 rounds.
You've got 4 rounds in this 13-4. It's not great. I think in my head, obviously you don't want to admit defeat. If I'm the in-game leader right now, I'm thinking, what's going on next map? Like, we've been absolutely wrecked here. Yeah, there's no coming back from this.
But that's what I'm wondering, is if you could at least drag it out, maybe you can...
That's the one good thing, right? The players who, if you can admit that this one's over, let's just concentrate on kind of getting in the zone and getting some frags on the board. Obviously, not going to try and be cringy with it, saying, oh, definitely we can pull this one back. Just try and get in the zone a bit more, get some frags going, like try and like get warmed up somewhat, and like see if you can get back in that place you were in. Maybe that's something, but for now it's looking like Device mowing them down, gets a couple there. Nitro does get one frag, but that might be all he getting. Obviously, trying to get the bomb down here would be great. That will be planted, so something to work with there. Stanistor JDM will be dropped in the end. It's going to be 14-4 after this one, but Stanistor's still fighting back. 9 HP, eventually dealt with.
Another round in for the Astralis team. 10-round lead for them currently, and I'll see what happens. I've seen some Danish flags in the audience, at least one of them in the audience, so...
Okay, so you've gone from Danish flags to... I've seen a flag.
I've seen a flag, listen.
I've seen a flag.
Have you ever noticed already, Henry? I just make stuff up.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I appreciate it, though. No one seems to notice.
2 for 1s in the middle of stuff like that.
That was great stuff. And would you believe it? That's 2 for 1. No, Andy.
It's not happened at all.
No.
19th round here. We're going to have to get some 2 for 1s out of Liquid if they need to sort of make this happen here.
Yeah.
I still think there's a value in delaying the win for Astralis so that your teammates start to believe in themselves just a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's difficult to do that like when you're only getting Tech 9s and Scouts and a couple of AKs. Like, it's difficult to go, right, we'll definitely win this round. There's only so much you can do to delay it, right? But we'll see what they can do. Round number 19, 14-4. One player already going down to the grenades towards main entrance. Stanistor's dropped. And it's up to JDM with the Scout, Elige with that Tech 9. A couple of AKs we mentioned before. Twist is one of them. And here we go. That was a good Scout shot landed. Actually didn't do any damage, interesting enough. Glaive and Dupree chiming in.
Why did it not, though?
I don't know. A bit of magic going on in server?
Yeah, apparently so. Because did they change that with the models on the ladders?
I think it was fixed, as far as I know.
It was fixed, wasn't it? Someone made a really good in-depth video. Was that 3 clicks, Philip? Yeah, I remember. Someone did. Device will end up getting a kill on Nitro, and that leaves JDM with the Scout. That seems to fire only blanks, apparently. Looking around the corner, and he's going to go down to Glaive. 15-4. What a brutal beating they're receiving here, Liquid.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we said, it's just one of those games they haven't turned up to. Nothing's excited me. They haven't won a gun round yet, Anders. So it's difficult for me to really analyze for you and like tell you what they could be doing, what's going wrong, and just simply not really finding. Is that through the legs? Is it a bit of a nutmeg going on?
No, I mean, I don't even trust my own eyes anymore, Henry, but I feel like that was dead on him.
To me, I was like, oh, I didn't even look at the HP. I was like, well, that's definitely a hit. At least he's getting some tags in, but not meant to be. To be fair, not really that much of an interest. Even if you got the tag, they weren't winning that round.
To be fair, I can hear myself in matchmaking screen. That was right on him.
Yeah.
I swear it was right on him.
I swear to God.
Why didn't I hit him? Well then. Some grenades raining in, trying to see if they can force Device back, and he will actually use some utility fairly early on here. Sometimes you want to try and be brave and hold on to that Molotov as long as you can if you're holding that ramp, but he just throws it out.
Well, at this point, map point and Liquid with Tech 9s, a couple of deagles, some smokes. I think it's just a set piece play. Just hope for the best, pull out one of the strats from the book and see what can be done here. Astralis to look dominant throughout, not giving away a single gun round. That's impressive. I don't think I've said that in a very long time, not a single gun round going against a team.
Yeah, very unusual, and as you pointed out, especially in a map like Train, where usually you could get something to work, even if you just run the defaults, you should be able to sort of get a couple of good rounds in. That just wasn't the case here. They've made their way down Pop Dog. Astralis are so far back on the map, they're saying, listen, you can have the bomb plant if you want, but we know you're not going to have the utility to hold on to it, so just come get it. Bit of a long-range smoke landing from all the way in white holes towards Ivy. Not really going to help too much this time. Dupree will get a kill. Instantly refragged by Twist, who picks up a second one with the Tech 9. That's finally some good news going in the way of Team Liquid. And Dupree, Kebu can certainly hear the bomb being planted. And he's re-smoked, actually. That's not bad at all. They still have a Molotov on JDM. Maybe this could be done. Maybe.
We'll find out momentarily. It'll be something to work with at least, so we'll need 12 rounds in a row still. But we'll see what happens as we get into it. A 3-on-4 again. It's going to be Device to find the first frag there. Bomb ticking away now. Molotov deployed, as you said, but all the frags to be in favor of Astralis. This could be a lead position given away. 2 kills to hold on to here. The defuse starts to come in, but I still think he can win this.
Crouching down, and gets the headshot, turning around. And I think there might have been just enough time for it here. Device picking up the double, getting the defuse, and making it 16-4 in favor of Astralis on the first map in this best of 3. I don't know what to say. How can we put a nice soft spin on this, Henry? Explain to me why it's not so bad.
A clinical